Coming up, the Guam Beekeepers Association, as it is World Bee Day. Do you know that?
I know it now.
Yep. Ken Sanity, ladies and gentlemen, standing in for Jason Solis, who's on vacation. Good morning, Ken.
Good morning, Chris.
How does it feel to be on the link?
Well, it's nice. It's nice feeling. I mean, my perspective is a little shorter than what Jason's perspective.
Yeah.
But, you know, fun.
Tell people what you do around here, just so they know.
I'm a social media guy. I'm the digital media producer and director. So, I decide what stuff goes on to the different social platforms and devise new ways for viewers to ingest content on the digital platforms.
Right. And so Ken is a big part of why we have won and been the recipients of the Edward R. Murrow Award for Social Media Excellence here at the stations at KUAM.
Sure. Yeah. The team of digital experts that we have here.
Yeah.
Of everyone chipping in and doing their thing. So.
And this is like a real. This is an award where we were competing with media from Bakersfield, California.
Yeah, same size market, Hawaii, right? So
right. Yeah. So it's actually a competition.
Oh yes, it is a big competition. It's actually
tough.
It was really difficult.
And so I wanted to just commend you and our team here at KUAM for, really proving again that Guam can stand toe to toe with the best in any field. We just need a shot. We just need to get our foot in the door.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Yeah, no, man, I'm just saying because it was reminding me of the Guam Memorial Hospital just won this award on Monday, but the award they won, I wasn't sure. I thought, oh, wow. I mean, and it's great. We're totally supportive of all the frontliners at the Guam Memorial Hospital, but I thought it was like some award where they competed against, and not to take away from whatever they accomplished by winning that award. I thought it was like they competed against other hospitals, but they actually won the award for Guam.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is, okay, it's like a default award because you were the only hospital that was dealing with COVID, the only public hospital.
Still,
GRMC
still worth the recognition.
Yeah,
though,
totally. Yeah, but it was just kind of funny to me because when we got the release, I was like, oh my God, yeah. But then as we started to really look into it, it's like, wait a minute, they were voted the best public hospital on Guam. Are they kind of the only public hospital?
But it reminds me of someone's fight record in MMA when they're like, yeah, I only have 2 losses in my entire career. And I was like, wow, that's pretty awesome. But he only had 2 fights. So
yeah,
that was kind of rough. But it's not the same.
Yeah, it's not.
But yeah.
But shout out to GMH and all the frontliners, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. 8:55. So we're getting the beekeepers on next. And there's actually a little interesting note here as Ken's dad is a beginning beekeeper.
Sure, he's a beekeeper. He's a beekeeper aficionado. Bee aficionado.
Yeah.
Is that what you call it? I don't know. It's kind of weird, huh? That this is my first day in, and we do the whole bee segment.
Right.
My dad happens to be a aspiring beekeeper.
Right. I've actually done a couple things in my illustrious media career. There was a guy over in Jotnya who was also doing beekeeping. There's a white guy with a beard. I did something with him when I was at KUAM a while ago. You know who I'm talking about?
He's got the tattoos on the arms, right? Man, what is his name? I can't put a name.
And so anyway, I did that, and then also I did something with Melker up at Hamamoto Fruit World, where they also had something with the bees.
The bee game is big on Guam, apparently.
Yeah.
So, I went to this is so funny. Maybe like a month ago, my dad invited me to a hive extraction or something. I guess there was some kind of hive on a power line or on a pole. Yep. And unbeknownst to me at the time, you can't just remove it. You have to have bee experts come.
Oh no!
Remove the hive.
You can just remove it because that's what we did when we were kids. We saw the beehive, we would throw rocks at it and try and knock it down and then run away. I know the beekeepers are probably
no, you can't. I don't think you can do that anymore, Chris. I think there's a national law that's the
I don't know.
Honey Bee
we didn't know any better. We didn't even know better.
I don't know. We need to get the bee experts in here. We have them in here, right?
I don't think they're all here though.
Are we missing a couple more?
I don't know. We couldn't just get him on.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Okay. So
Chris
good-
is coming.
okay. So we
He
have
said he was.
right now we have Olympia, who is the secretary,
Micah.
and Micah. Micah, what is your title, sir?
Just Micah, no title.
So you're like a grunt.
Yeah, I'm just a worker bee.
A worker bee. That's a good one. Ah.
All right. So
Micah is an excellent beekeeper.
right on. So was I wrong? Were me and my cousins wrong to throw rocks at the beehive back in the day?
Yes.
Told you,
Bees
man.
don't like it.
Yeah, I know. That was the point of it.
No, but
No.
there is an act, right? Like the National Honeybee Act or something, and you can't, like, it requires the proper removal of these types of hives, right? So could maybe one of you guys elaborate on? Is that a real thing, or did I just make that up?
It sounds like he's making it up.
I believe that there is a federal law passed about instead of going in there with pesticides and wiping out the colony, to have them move safely.
Yeah. And that actually is constitutes a lot of what you guys do too. Is when there's a beehive or you know, a wasp. I mean, you guys do wasps too.
There is a hornet that's an invasive species here, that greater banded hornet, and it's a predator to the bees. So there have been some calls for the hornet removal. We've helped out in that.
Micah, can you tell us a little bit about your like honeybee background? Like how long have you been involved in this kind of industry, and you know what got you started, and why do you continue to do it?
What belt are you?
What degree belt are you in honeybee keeping?
White belt.
Is it white belt? Okay.
I'm actually pretty new to the whole scene. What got me into it was I had a customer down at Leo Palace that really wanted me to start importing U.S. grade A honey, because that's pretty much the standard that the world looks to, because all the other honey has been like watered down, or they mess with it. So when the tourists would come to Guam, they're looking for grade A honey, and they would like load it up in their bags and bring it back to Japan or Korea. So she kept asking me to import it, but I didn't want to do anything food stuff because I don't like dealing with shelf life.
Yeah.
But then I found out that honey can last forever.
Longer than diamonds.
Yeah, so I started looking into it and interested, but then trying to learn a little bit more about the product, about honey. That's what got me interested into beekeeping. So then I just started it as a hobby, and then after that, I really got interested. And then there was several beekeepers already here on Guam, but it didn't seem like it would be something where we could get it to the size where you could sell it regularly. But I just got interested in doing it for fun, and now several beekeepers are putting out quite a bit of a quantity of local honey.
I mean, there seems to be a ton of local honey, right? Like
There's a few different
supply
brands.
at Payless and other local markets. And
Hey, we have Chris Rosario, who's the beekeeper. He's the man of the Beekeepers Association. He's actually the president. Good morning, Chris.
yeah, we're just waiting for him to connect to audio.
Yeah.
It should be good there. If you could just unmute yourself.
Sorry about
there.
that.
There
Right
we go.
on, buddy. Well,
Cool.
good morning.
Morning.
Well, guys, it's their day. Today is World Bee Day. And so that's why we got the beekeepers. I hope you can appreciate that, the scheduling that goes into this, you know, the thought. So how you guys feeling today on your day?
Actually, tomorrow.
Yeah,
It's
well,
tomorrow.
yeah, you know, I hope you appreciate the scheduling.
We're
and
getting
the-
we're getting
the
prepped
thought.
for
Yeah,
tomorrow.
we're where America's World Bee Day begins, Olympia.
You guys have something going on tomorrow.
Yeah, they do.
Right.
That's why they came on today.
Yeah, no. So if you could maybe talk a little bit about the event for tomorrow.
Sure. I guess should I start with I guess talking about what World Bee Day is about, I guess?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it?
Inform
So
us.
yeah, just well, a little history of World Bee Day. It actually is not too long ago. in 2017, it was declared by and yeah, and it's basically represents World Bee Day. It lands on May 20th, and that's when basically the bee. So May 20th presents the birthday of that beekeeper. His name is and yeah.
What kind of name is that?
It's a weird name. Am I getting disconnected?
Yeah, you are. Little.
It's basically out of Slovenia.
Oh.
And so he kind of revolutionized modern day beekeeping at the time. And so, and we're talking about 1800s. So
Wow.
he was a big, I guess a big influence in modern day beekeeping. And so at least at the time they decided that that May 20th should fall on his birthday. Yeah. So the United Nations General Assembly, they kind of adopted a resolution. It was on December of 2017. And so it's basically to recognize really not just bees, but also other pollinators at all levels that would kind of promote, really the efforts to protect them. And that's really the main goal there for World Bee Day.
What are you guys doing tomorrow for your day?
So,
Well, if I may answer that, we are celebrating in Agana at the Plaza, Skinner Plaza, and we are joining the Guam Food Truck Coalition to sell. They're there every Thursday. Since World Bee Day is on Thursday, we are joining them, and we have lots of fun things planned. Chris will be bringing his exhibition hive so you can see the bees in the hive, what they're doing. We are going to have honey sales, and we are going to have a People's Choice honey tasting where everyone gets to try some honey. It's a blind tasting, so none of the beekeepers will know which honey is theirs. And so people will be voting for the People's Choice sweetest honey on Guam. And we will also have bee dances. I will be in my bee costume and I will be leading the waggle dance. I will be teaching anyone who wants to learn how to do the waggle dance. And we also have giveaways of basil seedlings and lemon balm seedlings that the Triton Farm, the UOG Triton Farm, grew for us for this purpose to celebrate World Bee Day. Lots of information. Beekeepers will be there to talk to the public about the joys of beekeeping and give lots of really good information. And maybe we'll have some people who decide to join the Guam Beekeepers Association through this event. We want to promote bees and the love of bees and the love of beekeeping. And so that's what we're going to do. And it's going to be fun. Also, the proclamation, Chris.
They're going to have a proc signing.
there.
Bad internet connection on my part.
No
Can you guys
problem.
hear me better?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. So just get so we do have a resolution that will be presented to basically to all parties who have really helped especially in collaboration, essentially, really the University of Guam, Department of Ag, and then really a lot of the small businesses that have been involved in the Beekeepers Association have really been the driving force in how we kind of evolved today. And again, when I first started in 2013, we're talking only 3 to 4 beekeepers, just a handful, and then now we're up to 70 beekeepers.
Wow.
70
And
beekeepers.
majority, about 85%, are in the association. So it's a huge, and again, the driving force was really all those individuals who were part of that association from the beginning, really started to network out and started to really help others in obtaining their first beehive. So yeah, that's really what I wanted to get at.
Cool.
That's cool.
Micah and Chris and Olympia. So when we brought Micah on, he was talking about how the tourists were really trying to buy up a lot of this grade A Americano honey because they were told that, led to believe that it's the top of the line, top tier, yada, yada, yada. But where does Guam's honey stack up? And then because I do see it out there in the stores, but just if you could just sing the praises of Guam honey, tell us what the buzz is about it.
The buzz. That's a
The
good
buzz.
one.
Thank you, Joe, sir, for that.
And
Well, go ahead, Micah.
yeah, sorry, my opinion might be biased, but of course, I think Guam's honey blows away the U.S. grade A honey. And partly, I think the reason for that is because I think honey production in the States is mainly like a byproduct. A lot of the bees there are used for pollination, and some of the crops that they're doing doesn't necessarily make the best tasting honey. And then also they do a lot of heavy processing to it, so it stays clearer longer on the shelves, has a longer shelf life. But the processes that we're all doing here is, very simple. We just take it out of the hives, we extract the honey from the frames, we just filter out the little bits of wax so it stays raw. And the flavors that we're getting, I haven't tasted any honey anywhere else in the world that tastes similar to the honey that we have here in Guam. And one of the things I think was interesting is we've done some events before where we have like honey tasting. And it'll be like Olympia says, there's going to be a contest going on tomorrow. We've got beekeepers from all over Guam who are bringing their honey. And people think it's just honey. It's going to taste like honey. What's the big difference? But you'll be amazed to see like there's such a huge difference in color and flavor, aroma when you're tasting the honey that they can't even believe it. Like sometimes they'll try and they're like, "What is this?" And I'm like, "No, that's honey." They're like, "This doesn't taste like honey." Well, that's not the honey that we grew up on, that they're buying from the store. But yeah, simply just to answer your question, I think Guam's honey is some of the best tasting honey I've ever tried.
Go ahead there, Olympia.
Also, one of our beekeepers, Paul Packbeer, has entered his honey in food competitions in San Francisco, California, and both years he has won an award for Guam's honey. He put us on the map. And so I think that speaks to the richness of our honey. Also, our honey here is raw. It's raw honey. It's not heated or processed in any way. I don't believe any of our beekeepers do any processing to their honey. So it's very medicinal as well. Raw honey is medicinal. So
what are some of the uses? Like you can rub it on a pimple, right? I heard that.
Yes, you could rub that. Yes, also, people, because there's a lot of people on Guam who suffer from diabetes. And sometimes you get wounds. If you put honey on a wound, they even used it during war times, it draws water away from the wound so it won't be infected. It won't become infected. So it's actually a very healing, it has many healing properties. That's just one of them.
Right. Chris, I also heard it works good for Jaff.
Well, I'm not sure. Well, I do know that honey is antifungal, and we know that Jaff is fungus, right?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't doubt it at all.
Throw away your Selsun Blue, guys.
So yeah, you talked a little bit about how the honey from Guam tastes a lot better than other regions.
Yep.
Do you think it's the climate, or is it the
What are they-
the foliage, or
Yeah, what are they
flowers
pollinating?
that they're pollinating, or what
That's a very,
what
very
accounts for
good
that?
question.
Yeah, Ken. Good
So I
question.
know Guam, despite all the invasive pests and plants that we have on island, it does create a lot of diversity with the flora here on island. So it's I think it's really the diversity of the tropical plants that we have that really gives that taste that everyone loves. I mean, when you think of paradise, you think of like, sitting on a beach and like with a nice cocktail of tropical stuff. Like that's something to think about. And so you think of like the honey as kind of mimicking that, but of course without the alcohol. But
Yeah.
but I really think that's what's really attracting a lot of folks and on island and on off island to really try honey out. So
When I was in the States, I went to a farmer's market and they do these like straws of honey, and then it'll be like, I guess, honey that was made with bees that pollinated lavender or whatever type, different flavors, if you will. Right? Can you explain the process of that? And is it possible for beekeepers to like do different styles of honey based on what they're letting the bees pollinate? If that's even right, I don't even know if my terms are right.
Yeah, so in the States, when you have like a huge area, they have like these mega farms where you can throw some bees down there and they're going to pollinate everything that's in that. Maybe they'll travel 2 to 3 miles out from their hive. So everything in that radius would be that specific plant. And so they can say, yes, this is like a lavender honey or a alfalfa honey.
Yeah.
Now on Guam, it's such a small area and we don't have any giant farms where it's just miles and miles of one plant. So we can't say this is where the bees are going because we don't know exactly where they're going. They're going within a radius of that hive. So the best that we can do is try to guess what plants were in season, what plants were flowering during that time that they were collecting the honey flow. So as an example, right now we see a lot of mango coming in and a lot of avocado in season.
Yeah.
So we can, as a best guess, most of the nectar they might have been getting for the past couple of months would have been from those plants.
Right. So
That's awesome.
mango, siniguelas, avocado, like you said, otis.
Siniguelas.
That season, dude. To that, the season is good right now, right, Chris?
Yep, it is.
Yeah, I have a question. You mentioned like you guys have grown, like you have about 70 members or so right now. What are the largest or the biggest challenges for the Beekeepers Association on the island? Like, what are the main issues that you have to deal with as an association to, whether it be the harvesting of your product or the selling of it, or the preservation of a species?
The
Like,
politics.
What are the toughest issues that you guys face today?
That's a very, very good question.
Ken,
So,
that's why Ken is here, Chris.
so I think I can say though, being on Guam, beekeeping on Guam, we consider ourselves very, very lucky. At least when I first started beekeeping, really it was kind of a bees weren't really as recognized, and so even just with a handful of beekeepers, we weren't really able to tackle some of like the colonies that needed to be removed from some of these homes. So I think now, we're with the growth of the Guam Beekeepers Association, the word is out there that really any beehive that is found, we're going to be willing to save it. Of course, in the midst of that development or that evolution of the Guam Beekeepers Association, we had the invasive hornet, the greater banded hornet.
Right.
And the greater banded hornet has wiped out some of our big colonies, and colonies that were producing lots of honey. So I'd say, at least in terms of the biosecurity standpoint, is that our the invasive hornet is probably our biggest issue here.
Let me flip it and reverse Ken's question. What are some of the benefits and the joys that you guys get from being beekeepers?
Go ahead, Olympia.
Bees are absolutely amazing animals to watch. You can just watch them coming back with pollen on their legs, so their back legs are called pollen baskets. And it's just amazing, all the different colors of pollen. You have like red, you have golden, you have white, a whitish color, and you know that they're out there working together as a society to make honey for the winter. But on Guam, we have no winter. So that is awesome, even though they're preparing because they come from a climate originally that has winter. And so we get to reap the rewards of these the nectar from these tropical flowers, and that becomes honey, and that we get to harvest and share. So for me, I'm a natural beekeeper. I don't want to clip the wings of my queen. I just want to, and I'm a hobbyist. I don't have enough time, but in a day. But I'm in awe of my bees. And if you come down tomorrow with the exhibition hive, you will be able to maybe understand that what that brings, the awe it brings. But I think the worst thing we have here on Guam is the fact that we live in Typhoon Alley. And I don't know what's gonna happen when we have our first major typhoon with my beehives. I really dread it.
Are any of you guys allergic to bees?
Not that we know.
I have a question. I have a question. Sorry. I know you guys deal with a lot of honey often. So what is the, I guess, the best complement for food that you use with your honey? Like something that, I mean, isn't very common, I guess. Something that maybe is your, little niche of consumption of your honey.
And we'll just go round robin. We'll all share because I like honey too. Olympia,
we're going to start with Micah.
Yeah, Micah.
I think what some people find is an odd pairing and surprisingly delicious is heat, some pica in the honey. And actually, we just did a collab the other day that's ongoing right now with Lenny from Denancy, Guam. And he put in the local peppers into the honey, and he made his drizzle. And like people are so surprised at first. It kind of sounds weird. Like, why would you want like honey and pepper? But when they try it, it's so good. And that pairs really good with any kind of salties like fried chicken or even cheese.
Honey drizzle.
Fancy fried chicken. Oh man, that sounds actually really good. I'm gonna get one of those.
Where do we get that?
We could get one of those dropped to the stations one of these days before Jason comes back on his vacation.
Let me call
That'd
Lenny.
be helpful, Micah. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll drop you guys some.
You heard it here in the link. Olympia, what's your best way to do honey?
I put honey on everything, basically, but it's really good with yogurt.
Oh, yeah.
Mix it with yogurt. Oh my God, it's awesome. And then I learned from Micah's grandmother, through Micah, you can take turmeric, fresh turmeric, and cut it up and put it in the honey and then put it in the refrigerator. And then the honey absorbs the flavor of the turmeric, but it's also even more medicinal. And his grandmother would use this, like if she was starting to get a cold, she would you have to keep it in the refrigerator because you're putting something that's moist in the honey. And she would just put it in her tea or take a spoonful of it medicinally.
Not smoke it.
I really like that.
Chris?
Yeah, acai bowls. I think I've loved the acai bowls like growing up, and I mean, gosh, for about 10 years now. And then like adding the honey component to it. I mean, and you can taste the difference between an acai bowl that has store-bought honey in it and our Guam honey. A huge difference. And I don't know what it is, but yeah, acai bowls, blows people away with our Guam honey. Oatmeal is another good one. But really, it just as a original, just a sweetener for really anything.
Ken, how do you enjoy your honey?
You know, I like it with acai bowls too.
Yeah.
But I've actually, my dad is a beekeeper. I'm shouting out
Yeah.
my dad right
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
But I've never used my dad's honey on a acai bowl. I'm going to actually do that. I'm going to try
Wow.
that.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
Don't tell him I said that.
I
but,
didn't
you
know your
I-
dad was a beekeeper because we never got any honey.
Oh, yeah, we got some. We got some. I'm just keeping it low key, man.
Yeah,
But,
yep.
but I have to say, because I did go. I think Michael was one of the guys. I think we went to this place down in maybe PD or someone, and they had like a beehive on a power pole, and then these guys went up there.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
GPA came to assist, and they went on a truck and remove like.
And we're going to talk about that
entire
because they,
thing.
they
It's
do.
pretty
They're
awesome.
they're like the A team, but the B team because
They're the B team,
right?
yes,
Bee
you could say
The
that.
bee busters.
But it's cool, like they they cut the hive in a way that it preserves all the different like I don't know, we call it columns or whatever, or the hive, and they transport it to a farm. I thought it was awesome. It's pretty different to me.
I like eating honey with peanut butter. I like putting honey in my coffee. I also like honey on the yogurt. Yeah, I don't know. I use a lot of honey.
How about how many times have you guys been stung by bees?
Yeah.
Is that a common thing, or you guys are always wearing the suit, or like?
Do you even feel it anymore
They
if
say
you do?
that if you are not getting stung every time you check your bees, or at least like they say you're not a beekeeper if you do not get stung. It's like part of the job.
Oh,
It's part of the hobby.
it's like cauliflower
So-
ear for. Oh, that's cool.
But one of the good things is over time, your body starts to get used to it. So when I first started, I would get stung in the hand and it would swell up like an emoji hand. Like it just looked like a big fat hand. And it would be like that for several days. But now, like for instance, yesterday, I've been working on a harvest the past couple days and I probably got over a dozen stings.
Wow.
But when I look at where I was stung, I can't really find where it was. Like it just feels like a red ant bite, and then after that, it kind of fades away.
So I forgive me because I do not know the anatomy of the bee, but I always thought like when they sting you, they lose the stinger, right? Does that happen, or do they
And do
just
they
poke
die?
you and they keep it?
Oh,
Yeah,
it-
don't they die when they lose a stinger?
Yeah, their stinger is it's essentially like a barb. And that's what differentiates bees with wasps and paper wasps. Hornet or bees, so wasps and hornets usually have a smooth stinger.
Yeah, and it
So they're
can go in
able
and
to
out a
sting
lot.
multiple
Right,
times.
yeah.
As a honeybee, there's a barb. So once they sting you, and it's basically connected to all of their intestines. So
Their
like
guts.
So
when
that's why they hang on
when
you.
they rip, fly out, then everything else comes out with it too.
That's
sometimes.
dedication, bro.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
I'm gonna sting you and I'm gonna die. They're like bonsai. Right? To sting you, I'm gonna die, and all my intestines are gonna be left on you. Take that.
about
most
this
of
thing
the
tomorrow.
bees-
What time does this thing start tomorrow?
Oh.
Sorry,
It starts at 4:00.
4
Right.
p.m.
4 o'clock.
Okay. I'll have to be there early.
What do people do if they come across a beehive?
Oh, there you go. That's a good question, Chris.
Thanks, Ken.
Do not throw rocks at it.
Sorry, guys.
You can definitely call the Guam Beekeepers Association. You call myself. You can call UOG. We're basically giving people now more access to really someone who can take these beehives down. I mean, gosh, Micah, Olympia, we've all done wild feral beehive extractions on people's homes and in schools. Almost anywhere we find bees. So, but we want to give the public really access for that kind of removal for free too.
Right.
So,
Are there any non-traditional uses of the honey? Like maybe not for eating, but like, is there any like byproduct of the harvest that you can use for something different? I don't
Like
know,
soap, right? I saw
candles or
something
soap or
about
something. I don't know.
soap or.
Micah would be the best person to answer
Oh.
this.
Yeah, there's been some creams and balms that are being made up that help with psoriasis, eczema.
Oh, wow.
Like you said, also in soap. I think with the bees, though, the beeswax is actually a really good byproduct. So of course we know it like in beeswax candles, but in so many other products they'll be using beeswax. During this time of the pandemic, a lot of people have been picking up some side hobbies.
Right.
So a lot of people locally have been contacting us. They're trying to make some creams and salves and
Oh, really?
reusable
cool.
saran wrap.
Yeah.
So they contact us for some beeswax.
So are there any like beeswax candles on the market, or all the candles, the beeswax candles on the market, or do they contain none of your beeswax?
I order my beeswax candles from eBay, and they come from Russia or Eastern Europe because it's a big beekeeping place. But I want to say that Micah's soap that he uses honey in is the best. And I buy it as often as they make it. I get it and give it to my friends who love it. So please pick up Micah's soap because it's just absolutely wonderful. It doesn't have wax, I don't think, just honey. But I want to tell you one practical thing for beeswax. I learned this years ago. So, on your commode, on your toilet, it sits into the floor. And what goes on the bottom to seal it is beeswax. It's a beeswax ring that fits to the bottom of your toilet. So between your toilet and your floor is this beeswax ring. And I think beeswax is used for a lot of other practical and interesting and amazing products. But yeah, thank the bees for your toilet.
And thank you
It
guys
even
for.
comes down. Sorry, one more thing to add. It even comes down to even the bees themselves, the bee venom. People are using bee venom for apitherapy, for acupuncture therapy. So so that in itself is again another byproduct of keeping bees. Yeah.
There you go.
Well, I'm glad we're able to spread so much knowledge. Everybody go swarm to your local store and buy up some of this local honey. Or check them out tomorrow.
Yeah,
at,
tomorrow, 4 p.m. at Skinner Plaza, right?
Yep.
Awesome. Any closing remarks from anyone here on the panel?
Who's your favorite artist? Beyonce?
Cardi
Cardi
B.
B.
Cardi B.
Yep, I just want the public to really come out and take advantage of the fun we're going to have and all the information they're going to be able to understand and learn about bees, and also to be able to buy local raw healing honey tomorrow. Skinner Plaza.
We had a comment here. Is it safe to consume wild raw honey found in the jungle?
I would say yes.
There you go.
All
Sorry,
right.
I keep forgetting this is radio and I just keep nodding my head yes or no.
Yeah. All right.
There's,
If I could just make one last comment I think this Saturday at 10, I think, Chris, if you're still available to help me out with that, we're going to be doing a little introductory course to beekeeping. Real simple, just some answering some questions and talking about getting into beekeeping on Guam. It's going to be hosted by GU Sustainable. It's going to be through Zoom. So if anyone's interested in joining it, it's free. It's going to be at 10 a.m. and they can just go to GU Sustainable, their handle on IG, or Hafide Honey, their handle on IG, and they can see how they can sign up for that class.
Right
and
on.
just see if it's something that you'd be interested in. Or even if you don't want to become a beekeeper, there are things that all of us can do, just changing our way of living. Maybe if ones are using pesticides, you can do it in the evening, or find something that's bee friendly, some natural pesticides, and they can help the overall bee population here in Guam.
Right on. Well, guys, we're totally down to be brand ambassadors. So if you got any of that soap, any of the honey you want to drop by here in the station, we definitely would feature that and do our part to promote it, you know?
Yeah, definitely check them out tomorrow, Skinner Plaza, 4 p.m. And also sign up for the introductory class on Saturday, 10 a.m.